All right, we have a lot of folks here. I am going to sort of bow out. I'm going to post a link to Cheryl's stuff, right? Cheryl's been a TrueFire educator for many years. She has so many amazing, just simply amazing courses out. She does a great channel at TrueFire. I am going to post that there. Someone says Cheryl's voice sounds a little softer than mine. It's because Cheryl is a little sweeter than I am.
That's of myth. But I did. I thanks for that. No, I turned it up a little bit here.
She's a little bit
So
sweeter, so I that's probably the case. I am posting the link to her educator page. Maybe now I'm just posting to Cheryl. Let's do that again. All right, awesome. So check out her educator page if you guys are not familiar. I know many of you, I'm sure, probably are. And once again, if you've got your guitar, keep it handy because she's going to do some stuff where you guys can all play along, which is pretty awesome. So thank you guys for all tuning in from Brazil and parts unknown. Appreciate you being here. We're going to be doing several of these TrueFire live events, kind of like this. So um, stop by, check it out. And without further ado, I'm going to know many of you by the time this is over because I'm checking out everybody that's here. I appreciate you being here. But I'm going to turn this over to Cheryl because she is the master of ceremonies. So uh, let's hear it for Cheryl Bailey.
hey y'all. Wow, this is incredible turnout, and people are still coming in. So here's what I thought I would do. I'm gonna just play something. This is a track. It's actually on my channel, my artist channel. I do have um, a page where I post MP3s for you to jam with, and I am always encouraging people to repost their jams on the page. And I have a video of me jamming to the track, but you can get the this MP3 is on that on my artist page. It's on the backstage folder of my channel. Anyway, so you might recognize this chord progression. So I'm gonna play a little bit, just have some fun, and then I have a track. I now I can't remember which course it's from. I've done so many fun ones with TrueFire on the chord changes to "So What." I think that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna see. I have some different things, but where there's just bass and drums, and I thought we could trade. And I'll talk about some ideas of how to approach soloing. And then what we'll do is we'll trade eights where I'll solo and you comp for me in your little box in there, out there in box land, Zoom land. And then I'll comp for you, right? So we'll get to that point. And then I'm just going to open up the floor. I don't have an agenda. My thing about teaching is I want to help you. And the best way I can help you is when you ask me questions because then I know what you're curious about, and that curiosity hopefully will open up some avenues for discussion and some cool stuff. So anyway, I learned this. I'm going to play over the chord changes to How Insensitive, the Carlos Jobim composition. It's based on a Chopin piece, and if you are a fan of jazz guitar, I recommend my friend and mentor Gene Bertoncini actually has a version of the song where he plays the Chopin piece as a prelude into How Insensitive. And actually, Jobim was really into Chopin and I mean, I am too. I think from my point of view, he was like the Chick Corea of that era in so many ways, just his chops and just his musical imagination. Anyway, but this is also a very popular guitar song. I mean, obviously, Jobim was a guitarist. It's in D minor. We could talk about this song. I could talk about this song all day. Actually, there's so much in it. But Emily Remler and Larry Coryell have a very famous version of it, and the version I learned it from is from my musical muse mentor Pat Martino. He has one to me the definitive desert island version of this song for my taste. Besides Sinatra and Jobim, if you don't know that record, hello, welcome to just gorgeous, lush, incredible music. But anyway, so I'm gonna just play a little bit. Let me cue this up, and then I'm just gonna have some fun. One, two, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Hey Cheryl, that was awesome. Could you either just back up a little bit or point your camera down? We couldn't
Ah.
see your right hand there.
Oh man, come on! Now I'm gonna have to give up all my secrets.
It's this. There's no secrets. You can't hide that stuff. These folks want to see what you're doing. We want to make sure that wasn't all fake.
Oh, dang. Okay, all right. I hear you. I hear you. Thanks for the heads up.
Yep.
Okay. So here's what we're gonna do. Oh, you know what? Let me find some. I just want to find something cool. You know what? I have a I gotta look through my menu here because I want to find the exact right track for us to jam with. Sorry, that's an old. I'm using. You know what I'm using? I'm so old school. I still have my old iPod, and I love it, but it does make that clicky sound. Oh, I gotta go back here. So give me 1 second. Let me find this. Oh, I don't think I know how to use my. It's been a long time. Okay, let's find the right. Let's find maybe this one. I want to find one where I don't have any comping on it. That's the thing. I'm sorry. I should have thought about this a second ago. Ah! There's a lot of stuff in here. Oh, here we go. Here we go. This should be it. This is it. All right. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I have a track, and this is from the Trading Solos course. So we have that. It's actually a cool course because it kind of works this way where I play and then I comp. And so we'll do the same thing. Now, this is the chord changes to famous Miles Davis tune, So What? Now, I chose this because it's a great one to start to learn. In many ways, it's very simple, but it's simple ain't easy. There's 2 chords in it and 2 key centers, D Dorian and E flat Dorian. So it moves up a half step, right? So the only trick about it is to remember where you are in the song form because it goes 8, 8, and 4. So 8 bars of D Dorian, 8 bars of E flat Dorian, and then 4 bars of D Dorian. And then it starts all over again. So that's where the trick is because you have to remember on what side of the, I'm sorry, it goes 8, 8, and 8. Sorry, it's 8. So 8, and then D minor and anyway. So that's the trick of it. Now, what the heck is D Dorian? To me, it's a C major scale. It's the second. D minor is the second chord. I'm not into the mode. I think it's all smoke and mirrors, and I'm happy to talk about that. But, you know, to me, what that is it means that you have a D minor chord with a natural 6 or a D minor 6 chord. So any notes in a C major scale are D Dorian because of the chord. So wherever, if you know, I don't care where you know, just, right? So you could solo. So if you solo in that, that's called playing diatonic. Right? You're just playing in the key and just playing nice melodies. That's a great place to start. Because if you can't do that, adding a bunch of chromaticism and arpeggios and stuff like that isn't going to make your solo sound any better. So just giving you a couple levels of where you can jam on this and where I'm going to jam on it. Right? So the other thing that I like to do, so maybe a next level up to that, is I might... So I'm going to think about, for instance, okay, D Dorian is C major. When it goes up a half step to E flat Dorian, that's D flat major. All the notes in the D flat major scale are going to sound great on that. So develop melodies in your major scales. That's one very important tip I want to lay on you. The other thing I might do, okay, we're getting into like ninja levels, and we're going to get to high ninja. I might play over this as if it is, I'm going to pretend it's a 2-5, meaning I'm going to imply D minor 7, G7 over it. So I have a bunch of melodies that bring that out. Those are all melodies that outline that chord progression. So I'm going to superimpose that over it, right? So that's second level. The other level is I could play off of this and add chromaticism and kind of, we'll just keep it like that. I can add chromaticism or embellishment. So I might even just be embellishing that basic diatonic shape. So my target is D minor 7 if I'm in the D minor part, right? Or E flat minor 7. So I might try to play chromatically around a D minor 7 arpeggio, create melodies that way. I could also use a B half diminished arpeggio. Right? That's my other sound. I could use an F major 7 arpeggio. you listen to that chord, F major 7 over D, so I'd be making a D minor 7. So I could, that's all my super arpeggio class actually. So I could use that sound over it. I could use this sound, B half diminished or D minor. So anyway, that's high ninja stuff. So I'm gonna grab stuff from I might start with just the real simple diatonic thing, and then blast out. You can do whatever you like. Which if that high ninja level just like made your brain go like that, don't worry about it. Do your thing. So now this tune, the track is set up sort of like the tune. Ba-doo, 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 ba, So also, let me just show you a couple chords. You can use, for instance, on this chord, it's a real simple one to play, like a D minor 7, 11. It's just, I'm just barring all those chords and I can move it up. Right? Or any D minor 7 or D minor or E flat that you know is gonna work to comp. Or a very common pattern on this song is ba-doo, 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 ba. And I'm just going E minor 7, 11. Ba-doo, 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 ba-doo. Ba-doo, 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 ba. Ba, 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 doo. And then ba-doo, 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 ba. So we could do that on the head. Or any little bit of that. If you can just grab that top part. It's really pretty. Anyway, hang in there. And it's not a long track. We'll just jam and see how it goes. This is an experiment. And then we'll open the floor to discussion. So let me make sure this is all up in here. What do I want on here?
One.
Wait, let me make sure I got the right one. Oh, well, I want to go, so what? All right, let's go with that.
1, 2, 1.
You got it. I'm gonna comp. Now we're in E flat. Now you got it. D minor. Now here I go. I'm going to solo on the top. Here at the top. You got it. I comp for you. I got it. You got it. D minor. Now I got it at the top. You comp for me. You got it. Now I take an E flat minor. You guys got a D minor. you have it.
1,
Oh.
2.
So, how was that? Questions, answers. Those that ask the most questions get the most answers. Hello, hello, hello. What does this say? About the microcosmic line. Well, could you ask me a more specific question? I mean, that's a big topic. You know what I think about? You know what's important about asking questions is ask a bunch of them and ask a bunch of them till you get to the essence of what you want to know. Because then, sometimes people send me, a lesson thing, or a question. What do you play on G7? I don't know. I need a little bit more specific things in there to really answer that question in a way that is specific to you. How much do you recycle lines you've played before? All the time. It's like, how many times do you say yes or what or hello in a day? Of course you're going to recycle. It's only 12 tones. And everybody has their language, right? So this is an important thing, is to start to develop your language. So when I play stuff that sounds good to me. Also, think about this. You can only play what you practice. So if all you do is practice running up and down scales, guess what? When you go to improvise, that's what you're going to sound like. So when you practice, you should be developing ideas that create melodies, right? So again, I was talking about, you could play on a progression like it diatonically, but if all I do, if I sit down and practice and all I do all day is just, that's what it's gonna sound like when I solo, right? But if I practice intervals and triads and different shapes diatonically, so not only am I developing my technique, but I'm developing ideas and muscle memory of ideas in my ear, so that when I go to solo, now I'm playing melodic shapes. I'm not playing scales. So it's important. It's important to learn your scales, and believe me, I know all my scales, and you have to. But it's really more about, that's the alphabet. It's not the thing, So, let me see. What do we have there? So, Scott, hey man, how you doing, man? I'm glad you're here. So Scott is asking, when you use the upper extensions of the super arpeggio, do you use F major 7, A minor? I can use any of them. I mean, I think the thing is to experiment with these, and you find the things that you're attracted to. The things that I play or the substitutions I use are the ones I'm attracted to. They're things that I've heard in other players that I was attracted to. So, experiment with them. Sometimes people go, is it right or wrong to do this? I'm like, no, man, if it's calling to you, explore it. If you got an itch, scratch it. Like, hey, I wonder what F major 7 sounds over D major, or over D. I like that sound, so I'm going to use that, So I think that's the thing again, this is all kind of talking about developing your voice, developing the kinds of diatonic melodies and shapes you develop, and also those kinds of substitutions. So I think what I play are things that I've studied that sound good to me, and that's what I'm going to play, right? So when you hear someone, like you hear Chick Corea play, what you are hearing is his whole training and his whole musical creativity when he plays. You're hearing what probably just a fraction of what he hears in his head. That's how deep he was. R.I.P. Ooh. Oh, that's a good question. So somebody has a question. When comping on this particular modal song, are you just using all the chords in the C major scale? Yes. That's a great question. So, there's something cool about this kind of sound, Dorian sound, to me. For instance, this voicing is all perfect fourths. So there's an openness to it, right? So if I harmonize the scale, now it's all pretty much the same, except when you get to here, because there's a tritone in a major scale. But I could play all those because it gives an openness to it, right? So that's kind of what McCoy Tyner pioneered, those kind of voicing. So I could play. Right. Now, one of the what I was saying at the beginning of the song, a common way to comp it, right? But you can also go, I could use that F major 7 to comp. This is when it's cool, like when you start to learn your inversions. I could go D minor 7, any of these inversions. Or I could play F major 7. I don't know if I can get that. I could play B half diminished. So when I was talking about those three substitutions, they are true as melodic ideas and they're true as chordal ideas. So that's one way to start to play extended chords without really having to do much. If you know the formula, just put it all together. Oh, I'm putting all these, wow, there's all kinds of folks in here. What other questions are there? I don't know if I'm doing a good job of answering them. Ooh, okay, I like this. Marcus, any advice on what notes you generally target on the downbeat of a change? Any advice to stick the landing, chord tones versus playing through the change? That's a great question. I mean, let's put it this way. When I'm playing, it's like I'm talking to you. It's a fluid language that I hear. So just like when you go to talk to someone, you hear it before you say it, hopefully. Some people don't, they just talk. But it's the same thing when I'm playing, right? But that said, I've done hours and hours of my life training myself to with my phrasing, right? So if you're getting into playing changes, I think a great starting point as a practice. So I also want to make sure to make you think about there's a difference between practice and performance, right? When I'm practicing, I'm very methodical. I'm very focused on what am I doing? What am I applying? When I'm playing, that goes out the window and I'm just on the seat of my pants. I'm using my instinct, right? That's why I call my course the Bebop Dojo. Just like a martial art, you learn a fight form. But when you get in the ring, you're not going to go through your kata. You're going to have to act and react, right? Muscle memory and your instincts. So your training should feed your instincts for performance, right? So that's what I'm saying. So when I'm actually playing, I'm just trying to clear my mind, trust my hands, and just channel it through. When I'm practicing, and what I suggest to all my students is to practice in this way. So for instance, if I had this D minor 7 arpeggio, I'm here in the 5th, I could practice, so for instance, chromatic below, where I hit the chord tone on the downbeat, 3, 4, and 1. Now if you notice when I came down, I staggered it so that I don't have any repeated notes. So that's just a study, right? It's not necessarily a piece of music, but it's a really important study. Now, I could even phrase that in different ways. So I was very careful to put the resolution on the downbeat. 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. So that the chord tone's always on the downbeat. But I don't always want to phrase it that way. Also, these could be phrased in different ways, like... Charlie Parker. Lester Young, right? So these types of embellishments are all great melodies, have them. Whether it's video game music, it's Italian opera, it's Charlie Parker, all great melodies have these types of melodic embellishments. So the thing is, I always say to everybody that's just learning them, treat it as a discipline and practice them where they're on the downbeat and you're really aware of where you are on the beat and where you are in the chord. But then when you go to play them, just trust yourself, right? Because as you start to learn them, you'll start to hear them everywhere as well, and you'll start to learn this language of using them. But I think as a discipline, you could start with using them on the downbeat, the chord tone on the downbeat. But again, it's not a straitjacket. It's just a discipline to help you focus on how you want to practice and apply them. So I hope that answers your question. Okay, someone asked me about my right hand approach. Could I talk about it? What would you like to know about it? That's what I want to know. I mean, again, if you can make your question very specific, I mean, I could talk about my approach, but what do you want? What do you really want? What are you curious about my right hand? And I'm happy to tell you. So anyway, Robert, where are you? Can you follow up with your question? Or if someone wants to ask me about my right hand. Oh, okay. Okay, I see what people want to ask me. Okay, that's a good question. Now we're getting somewhere. So, yes, I play maybe counterintuitive, right? I used to play like this with my hand coming down against it, right? And then I met this insane man named Rodney Jones, and he turned me on to this. And I guess people call it George Benson style picking, right? So maybe I get a good shot of my hand. So now the principle of it, well, let's put it this way. This is a bastardization of classical guitar technique. If you play classical guitar technique, if you see your fingers will hit at an angle, and that's what the idea is, that the pick hits at the same angle. That's why classical guitarists have an amazing tone, or they seek to get that tone that way. This is the same principle tonally. So the pick is an extension of my fingernail. So if I had a fingernail, and if I was a classical player, so when I'm playing, I imagine that's my fingernail extended. Right? See classical guitarists, they have their fingernails, they're obsessed with their fingernails, right? Because that's their plectrum. So I'm imitating that same thing. So the reason why to me, it sounds good, and hopefully to you, is because you can't overplay the string. So if you're going this way, you have gravity, right? And you're going to overplay the string. So by playing this way, you play very light. Now, do you ever see those guys that win the marathon? Just watch them. They are an example of absolute relaxation. Any great athlete is relaxed. You cannot have, in fact, the definition of great technique to me is relaxation. You cannot have, there's no one you can name. That's the great thing about YouTube. Watch Chick Corea, watch Vladimir Horowitz, watch anyone that you consider a virtuoso. Could be a shredder. Could be Buckethead. I don't know. I don't care who it is who plays virtuosically. They are not tense. So you must not be tense if you want to be a virtuoso. So in this way, I can't overplay the string. I can't put too much tension into the string. So it's lighter, therefore it can be faster. Think about that. Lightness means speed. It also means a better tone because now actually Ron Carter explained this really well. Ron Carter plays incredibly light. Also, Jaco Pastorius was another person. He used the volume of his amp to turn it up, and he was like he'd play back here, and he was like a little hummingbird, light. So, the idea is that if I'm playing this way, I would always get this sound that I hated. That was like a ping. The reason why you get the ping is because you're playing too hard. And it's noise cancellation, just like noise cancellation headphones. You're cutting out the fundamental. When you play lighter, you actually get more sound and better tone because you're not overplaying the stringing, you're letting all the harmonics ring. That's why, to me, in my opinion, is a better tone. Maybe you like the tone of that. have at it. For me, this is a better tone. Also, so I'm relaxed and I have a bigger range of dynamic in my phrase. So, just like that's the secret to bebop too. Well, it's a secret to any language, any musical language, or it's the articulation. Donna Lee doesn't go da 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 da. It doesn't sound like that. It goes there are accents there. There's a dynamic in the accent. That's what makes it swing. So when I have this lighter touch and I can go I can go faster, I'm getting a better tone, and then I have a bigger range of dynamic in my phrase. Not playing every note the same loudness. So that's the motivation for that technique, and that's the principles behind it. The tone, and also just the relaxation, and then the articulation. So those are the bigger things about why to play that way. I never recommend anyone to do it because I almost lost my mind trying to figure out how to do it. So I don't want you to lose your mind. So anyway, thanks for the question. How do you come up with good ideas course after course? I don't know. Well, I don't know if I do. I try. That's a great question. Do I memorize hundreds of lines? No. Well, Tony, that's a great question, but you have to see. It's just like when I'm playing, it's like talking. We're talking. We have a conversation. We have a library of thousands of words because we've been speaking the language all our life. That's what it is when I'm playing. Sure, there's stuff that I play that's, as again, like sounds good to me, but and I have memorized lots of tunes. I've studied a lot. I'm a studied person. So when I come and play, though, I don't want to have an agenda. So that's the fun for me. Again, I do that study in the practice room, but when I'm going to play, I'm, outside of here's the melody that I've memorized and the song form that I've memorized, I just want to let go and play and try to be as open to, my ideas. And it's not different from us talking, really. I know that might seem hard to believe, but, I've been at this for a while. How can I talk about swing? I love to talk about swing. Oh, yes, but don't mean a thing if it don't swing. How do you help students get out of that? Okay. Oh, that's a great question. Susan. Yes. Hey, Susan. Thanks for joining us. Great freaking question. Yes, swing. To me, swing is the most fun thing ever. But anytime, like all music has a feel, right? If you're playing funk, it's got to be funky. If it's rock, you got to rock. So I think this is a thing. This is sort of a deeper way to listen to music, a deeper way to understand music, about the feel. How does it feel? That's kind of abstract, right? It's not like here's a scale, play the scale, right? It's a feeling. So swing to me is a feeling. First of all, listen to people that swing. To me, Errol Garner, Joe Pass, Charlie Parker, Cannonball Adderley, Hank Mobley. Like, listen to people that swing if you want to know what it is. And also even better when you hear people in person and you feel it. It's a feeling that's so deep. So if we're talking about swing and 4/4 time, I say everything, you have to learn how to work on your rhythm guitar. It's the foundation of everything. Because you're not just working on your rhythm guitar, you're working on your understanding of the song form, you're deepening your relationship to the time, right? To the heartbeat, to the quarter note. Because if you don't have a good quarter note, you're not going to have a good eighth note. And if you don't have a good quarter note or eighth note, you're not going to be able to syncopate. So that term means, for instance, if I play on all the downbeats, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. That's syncopated, stuff that's on the upbeat. That's really what jazz rhythms are about. So I always say to everybody, man, listen to the Errol Garner, the piano player. Listen to his left hand. That's swinging. If you can imitate that on the guitar and work on your rhythm guitar, everything's going to come together. I promise you. It's the number one thing. Also, for me, my rhythm guitar style comes more out of Jim Hall. It's a little looser. But so this is what's interesting, because you can listen to Jim Hall, you can listen to Tal Farlow, you can listen to Freddie Green, you can listen to any of these players that play a quarter note. Even I have a recording of Pat Martino playing quarter note, because he can't play the way he played with those amazing syncopations without knowing where the quarter note is. You can't fake this. But if I was even just to take a blues. If I don't know where that is, how do I know where anything is? I don't know where anything is. If I can't feel that. And so the point to me is work with that. Whatever tune you're working on, just work on getting that rhythm guitar down. Then build. And everything will sit on there. Because check it out, like when you listen to Jim Hall, his quarter note is so amazing. So for instance, instead of just playing all the downbeats when my quarter note is strong, when I play upbeats, you feel the quarter note coming from me. 2, 3, 4. Boom. If I don't know where this is, I don't know where is. So work on that and everything will come from that. So same thing when I'm soloing. I'm still playing off of that quarter note. 3, 4. Boom, 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 right? I can't fake that. So that's the number one thing. If you just work on where that sits, that's where it's at, to me. Great question. Hope I answered it okay. Do you think Charlie Christian was thinking of normatives? I don't know what a normative is when playing, or just play what he was feeling. I don't know. He's R.I.P. Charlie Christian. We can't ask him, so I don't know what he thought. I wish I could. Maybe we could have a seance and call him up and say, "Hey, man, what were you thinking there?" I don't know what he was thinking. I mean, personally, maybe Frank Vignola knows more about him as a person. I feel a little ignorant. I should know better because I am an academic, but I don't know a lot about him personally and how he thought about music. I mean, I know also Wes Montgomery was not an academic in any way. He had perfect pitch and he had perfect memory of, he could go to a movie and memorize the soundtrack. So now, did he know about music? I mean, yes, but he didn't. Also, Pat Martino was another one, and talking with him, this just shows their brilliance because he understood everything about music, but he didn't have the same. I went to Berkeley and I learned the names, right? That's a drop too. He was like, I don't know, whatever that is, but he played them. He had his own name for them. So, I think that's the kind of someone who's so bright, or they're kind of like an avatar to me. Somebody who's just on that vibration. They're going to figure it out, and they might not use these kind of language that we do in academia, but they know what they're doing. So I don't know what Charlie Christian thought. I don't know. I never had a conversation with him, but I'm telling you, there are people. Actually, my friend Wayne Goines in Kansas State University, he wrote a kind of the definitive Charlie Christian book. Maybe see if you can find it or talk to him, because I know he's dug really deeply into the life and philosophy of Charlie Christian. So those are great. Jeff, are you there? Jeff Sheets, you left.
I am here.
How are we
Indeed.
doing? We got like 10 more minutes. Is everybody cool? Is everybody cool here?
Everybody's great, and you're doing awesome. I would like to say all of your answers are perfect.
Cool.
So very cool there. So if you want to play something else too, I don't know if you want to just. I think everybody would love to hear a little playing. I think, there's been several questions about comping, Cheryl. What
Mm-hmm.
of your courses? Which courses do you
Mm.
think are, would help people the most with comping? You got
Oh,
any thoughts on that?
yeah. There are a couple of them. I mean, people like the fake book, but
Yeah,
that's more like you could play along and learn sort of the things that I comp. There's not really a big concept there
right.
that I teach, but that the one that we did, the more recent one that came up on chord soloing,
Yep.
the bebop chord licks, I
Yep.
think is good. Even though those are more sort of approaching things in a melodic, as kind of melodic lines,
Right.
great comping is melodic, and all those little bits in there are important.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, well, cool. Yeah, I think that was a couple of questions, and I agree. The fake book is a great way to just put it on and play along with, and you can play as much as you can hang with. If you lose it, that's okay. Jump back in, and it's just a
That's
good
right.
way to
That's
get all
right.
that down. So very cool.
Well, I mean, I have to say, comping is so important to me, and actually, I just started recording and working with this amazing musician Jerry Bergonzi, who's like a freaking legend of the tenor saxophone. And you know why he called me to play on his band and on his records? Because he loves my comping. And that to me was the biggest compliment ever. And I take a lot of, I take it very seriously about comping. And here's the thing: people ask me about comping. The number one thing you need to know about it is it's not necessary, because and the the most important skill that you need to develop, the number one skill is listening. Because if I'm comping, like if Jeff, if I'm playing with you, I don't know what you're going to play till you play it. So I have to listen to you to know what I'm going to play. And my job comping is to make you sound good. Because also, Jeff, if you're soloing and I comp behind you and I make you sound good, I mean, you're going to sound good no matter what. But I'm going to try to make your thing so easy. You're going to call me back next week to play in your band. So that's like the number one way you get experiences by your comping. Like Jared Bergonzi was like, "Hey, play in my band." I was like, "Oh my God, really?" And he loved my comping. But so the number one skill is listening. So there's this thing about it has to happen in the moment, right? Because I don't know what's going to happen. So, but there are two skills you need to develop to be good at it that you can practice, that are practical things. Your chord voicing, so your knowledge of chord voicing, voice leading, and having a big vocabulary of chords. Because I don't know what's going to happen. So it's not a formula. I don't know what's going to happen, so I have to be ready for anything. So having a good knowledge and variety of voicings and rhythm, like I'm talking about, laying it in the pocket, right? So that it's grooving. So those two skills you can work on in your practice room. But when you get on the bandstand, it's this thing, and you have to just take leap off the cliff into the great unknown and trust all that work that you did is going to be there for you, and have fun with it. So it's kind of it's a mysterious, there's a big mysterious realm about this magical, but there's some real practical things. So I think actually in that chordal licks thing, I get into a little bit about chord voicing theory and how to put that together so that you have a variety, instead of you see C minor and you only have one voicing, you need to start to get into, for instance, there's many ways to skin a cat. No offense to any cats or cat lovers,
No,
but
that's great. That's so important. I love it. I think that's awesome. I would like to tell everybody. Look, I posted again. Go check out Cheryl's page at TrueFire, her educator page. She's got links to all of her courses. And if you like what she's giving you here, if you're not in her channel, man, you should be in her channel. You can get in her channel for as little as $5 a month, and she's there to answer questions. Posts. I think there's like, hundreds of videos in there, 400 videos in there,
at
covering
least.
all these different subjects. She's answering questions in there. So, it's just a great resource. It's amazing to have her. We're thrilled to have her as part of the TrueFire family. As, not only an amazing educator, but just a part of the family.
And I have one more thing I really want to plug. I have a new record out, and this whole thing, I really wanted, I've put some things out on labels and I've had good experiences, but I wanted to take artists. We get the short end of the stick in this business. So there's three ways you get. It's on vinyl, actual vinyl, which you can get through my website, and high res audio you can download. There's one single on Spotify, but if you want to get it for free, I'm going to put the link in the chat because it's a free experience. So subscribe there because we're in the process. It's on Monday. This is how it works. There's 8 songs, but it's been unfolding over 16 weeks. And so for instance, this week there's a song that is up there, The Search for New Light. On next Monday, there's a tutorial about it. So there's an educational element behind the making of the song. So I know you're all nerds because you're here and you're hanging with us. I talk about, these are the chords of the song. This is the form of the song. This is what I was thinking. This is what Harvey S plays. This is what So it gets in a little bit to the personal story of each song, but the nuts and bolts of the song, and also it's a place if you want to comment about that. So just I put the link there. If you subscribe, it would be great. That's the way you can get it for free. So I wanted to make sure there's a free way to get it, but it's free with some bells and whistles too. So I hope that you will enjoy not only the music but also some of the videos. Jeff, you gotta go see. I had some fun with the green screen.
Nice.
I broke out the green screen and I visited different locations from my Bronx apartment. It was pretty dope. So
That's awesome. Well, yeah, definitely check that out, and we'll post that. We'll save that and post it. Make sure we get it posted on the site as well for everybody. So
cool.
Very awesome. Well, thanks for being here, Sheryl. You want to play something for us? You want to play a little bit of something while we're take us out, as they say?
Yeah, let me go here. I'm gonna play. Okay, this is a fun one. This is also from the Trading Solos. This is the track to Stanley Turrentine's Sugar, but we call it Sweet for copyright people.
1, 2, 3, 4.
notes left.
That was awesome. That was amazing. Amazing. Thank you. Thanks to everyone for tuning in
Thank
tonight.
you.
Really
So cool.
appreciate it. Please
Amazing.
go to that link Cheryl posted.
Please
Check
go.
out her new stuff. Go check out her page at TrueFire, and we'll do this again sometime.
Yeah. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, TrueFire peeps, and I'll see you soon.
All right. Sounds great. Thank you, everybody. Have a great
Yeah.
night.